It's that kind of voice that I get when there's been like a horrible accident and I turn into a robot all of a sudden, and I'm like, where did that come from? Ooh, that's great. That's one of the fantastic things about superhero movies these days, is just that they're fantastic actors in these movies. It's like you're getting, like, can you talk about getting Jessica Chastain in this new film? Because, you know, having all these folks in the film, and, you know, people who couldn't be here today, like Fassbender and James McAvoy, it's like, these are legit casts.
Powerhouse cast. And actually, Simon never really thought of anybody else for that role, and wrote it for her. Had no idea whether she'd really be open to it, but it was one of those moments, and as a producer it makes you nervous, because if it doesn't pan out, it's inevitably a much more disappointing moment.
Yeah, that's like naming your movie Being John Malkovich, and you haven't asked Malkovich yet.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but he did a really great job on the script, as everybody said, and knew the movie and the ambition of the movie so well. I think was able to communicate all of that to Jessica in the language that made sense to her. So not that she was necessarily opposed to these movies, but I think the threshold she maintains for what it is she's interested in as an actress is extraordinarily high. And I'd say that's true of all the cast, but Jessica is, I believe, you know, if not, you know, in the top 3 actresses working today, maybe high. I mean, she's just an extraordinary actress. So the bar was high, and it required Simon, you know, kind of show the goods as a first-timer. That's challenging, but he did.
Yeah, I look at these casts and I'm like, you know, to grab you guys again, and to grab somebody, you know, all these other cast members, these movies have to be intriguing on a different level. So we've reached just about the end of our time today, and before we go, I would like for each of you to choose an X-Men that you would like to be, that is not you. Okay, so who have you always related to, or whose power is awesome? Pick and give an explanation, and then we will allow everybody to pull out their phones after that.
Do you want me to go first so you have time to think?
Yeah.
Sure, it's an easy one for me. Magneto.
Nice.
1, he was my favorite character growing up. 2, he's just a badass. 3, he's Jewish. And we don't have a lot of representation in comic books. So, and he's just a complex, fascinating guy whose philosophy makes a lot of sense, but whose actions maybe don't. And that's an interesting dichotomy. But mostly because he's a badass Jew.
I go back and forth, but I think in this moment I'm gonna recommit to Wolverine, because I mean, and part of it I'm going to confess is because of how long longer relationship now I've had with that character, but it's also because I love the mix of humanity and rage that coexists, and the struggle that he undergoes in trying to work that through, to me, is incredibly compelling on a whole bunch of different levels. And the fact that in the end he can kick your ass, I really like too. So the combo is probably going to lock me in there. We bought you as much time as we can.
It still wasn't enough.
I also like to think I'm just as ripped as Wolverine, but I don't know, this is something that you, Hutch, said earlier in another interview, which I thought was really interesting, kind of going back and forth between Professor X and Magneto in the way that they're kind of a bit like MLK and Malcolm X. I feel like I kind of go back and forth between them, striving to do the right thing, but doing it in vastly different ways and can't quite decide, and feel like I'm either one or the other. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm just like Jean, actually. I'm probably just a bit unhinged.
And to also point out, Wolverine could not handle close proximity to a microwave. The adamantium, I'm pretty sure. Like, pretty positive. Okay, Ty, wrap it up for us.
I'll do it quickly. Jean Grey.
Oh.
She's just got it going on.